All women are different, but they are all women. This video is androcentric from a men's point of view and is presented as opinion, commentary, and debate. Expressing opinions is not violence. These are ideas to challenge, question, and argue in public, because classical liberalism relies on the First Amendment for its dialectic. If you are a feminist, then consider this. If patriarchy truly existed as claimed, feminism could not. And if all men are trash and women are equal to men, then what are we to conclude? Women will die for their children. Men will die for their wives and children, and God chose to die for all mankind. Authority rolls up with responsibility. If this framing of facts offends you, click off to a cute cat video. Proceeding further will expose you to gamma bias and criticism directed at ideas, claims, institutions, not at any individual's virtue or dignity. Our method follows the 7 liberal arts, the trivium, grammar, logic, rhetoric, and the quadrivium, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy, and the transcendentals, the good, true, and beautiful. If this framework is not for you, feel free to exit now. It's no disgrace. Women are wonderful. God bless America. Men are great. Feminismus delendus est. University flooding, excess elite overproduction, too much debt, communist creep, and not enough skills. Written by Conrad Riker, available now, links in description. University flooding, a field guide for men who still notice reality. Tears are not torpedoes. How feminine mysticism replaces truth with trauma, sacrifices men, and declares war on reality itself. You know what's really sacred? The silence of a father who works 2 jobs so his daughter can cry over a rugby match she doesn't understand while wearing a grounding stone in her sports bra, like some pagan talisman against reality. You know what's not sacred? A woman screaming at a TV because a ref made a bad call, then calling it spiritual resistance. That's not resistance. That's regression. That's the tantrum of a toddler who didn't get the lollipop, only now she's weaponizing tears, mascara, and ovarian vibrations as if the universe owes her a participation trophy in the form of cosmic justice. Let me tell you a story. I once watched a man get arrested for commenting refs blind at a high school soccer game, handcuffed, charged, caged, while the woman who called him a toxic patriarch for questioning, her opinion walked free, mascara intact, hailed as a truth teller. That's not equality. That's genocentric immunity. And you want to talk about sacred labor? I'll give you sacred labor. 80% of workplace deaths are men. 92% of combat deaths are men. 78% of suicides are men. Men die first, work dirtiest, and get buried fastest. And for what? So women can claim emotional exhaustion from scheduling colonoscopies is some noble uprising. Spare me, you say men don't bleed for the cause? I bled fixing roofs in the rain so my sister could sit inside and journal about her inner child. I've bled in courtrooms where family judges, 80% female, laugh when a father begs to see his kids, while mothers who abandon their children face no consequences. You want initiation? Try being a man in family court. Try being presumed guilty of abuse just for existing. Try paying child support for a kid you're legally barred from seeing. That's the real patriarchy. Female supremacy dressed up as victimhood. And don't get me started on abortion. 60 million male lives erased since Roe v. Wade, no trial, no appeal, no voice. Just silence, blood, and a woman saying, my body, my choice, while demanding men pay for it. That's not empowerment, that's sovereign narcissism. You say tears are revolutionary? No. Truth is revolutionary, and the truth is this: women don't create space. They occupy it after men build it, fund it, and die protecting it. You don't need to cry to be heard. You need to earn the right to speak. And right now you're not speaking. You're screaming into the void, mistaking emotional noise for moral authority. But the void answers back, and its name is consequence. Bunkum article by a feminist PhD. Sweat is patriarchal. On mascara, men's tears, and the sacred duty of female sports fandom, we women have been gaslit for centuries into believing fandom is a man's domain, like beer, like belching, like emotional repression. But fandom is not about stats, schedules, or fair play. It's about feeling, and feelings, as every emotionally intelligent woman knows, are facts. When I scream at the TV during a women's soccer match, I'm not overreacting. I'm performing a ritual of collective healing. Every tear I shed for a missed penalty kick is a drop of blood sacrificed to the goddess of equity. My backup mascara, that's not makeup, it's armor, it's war paint. It's a declaration. I will not be silenced by your fragile male egos who can't handle a woman who feels too much. Men love to say, you don't even know the rules, as if knowing is the point. But knowledge is a patriarchal illusion. The real game isn't on the field, it's in the relational space between us. When I scream you stole her power at the screen during a bad call on Sam Kerr, I'm not just supporting a player, I'm exorcising the demon of male authority that lives in every officiating body, every boardroom, every PTA meeting. And let's talk about that other sacred duty women are handed, being the family's health coordinator. Men don't get it, because they've outsourced empathy to pharmaceutical ads and Google searches. But we know. We feel the micro shifts in our children's moods, the slight fever before it spikes, the way our partner's jaw tenses before he snaps at the kids. We are the emotional immune system of the household. And yet, when we ask men to finally schedule their colonoscopy, they whine like toddlers denied ice cream. I'm fine, they say, as if fine is a medical diagnosis. Meanwhile, we're scheduling dentist appointments for the dog, tracking ovulation for 3 friends, and holding space for our bestie's gender-fluid siblings or a realignment, all while managing our own endometriosis with nothing but essential oils and righteous fury. This is not gatekeeping. This is sacred labor. And men? They're not excluded from fandom or healthcare. They're failing the initiation. They want access without accountability. They want to wear the jersey but refuse to bleed for the cause. They want to say, I support women, while rolling their eyes when we bring up emotional labor, reproductive autonomy, or the fact that Serena Williams almost died giving birth because doctors ignored her. Because here's the truth they can't handle. Women don't need to earn space in fandom, medicine, or leadership. We create it with our tears, with our rage, with our backup mascara and our grounding stones, and our refusal to let male fragility dictate the boundaries of reality. So cry, men. Cry like you did when your team lost the Super Bowl. But know this, your tears are performative, ours are revolutionary. Ontological warfare, the deconstruction of emotional solipsism, and the myth of feminine epistemic superiority. I felt it in my ovaries. That's what one woman wrote, describing how a rugby referee's call moved her so deeply that her reproductive organs sensed injustice. Not metaphorically, literally. She claims her black tourmaline, tucked into her sports bra like a sacred relic, began to vibrate in protest. Let me ask you, brother, when was the last time your prostate started humming because someone missed a 3-pointer? If you're sane, never. But in the new feminist liturgy, emotional excess isn't a bug, it's the feature. Crying over sports isn't irrational. It's spiritual warfare and mascara. That's not makeup, it's armor. Tell me, when did absurdity become sacrament? Let's dissect this with the precision of a surgeon removing a tumor. The article declares, feelings are facts. A bolder lie was never typed. If feelings were facts, then every schizophrenic hearing voices would be reporting objective reality. Every jealous man convinced his wife is cheating without evidence would be correct. Every child terrified of monsters under the bed would be justified. Yet we medicate the delusional, we counsel the paranoid, we reassure the frightened. But when a woman says she felt it in her ovaries, suddenly subjective sensation becomes divine revelation. This isn't feminism. It's emotional occultism, a new religion where the self is God and reason is blasphemy. Consider the syllogism. Truth must be consistent and falsifiable. Feelings are neither consistent nor falsifiable. Therefore, feelings cannot be truth. This isn't controversial. It's logic, but the article rejects logic. It worships emotional solipsism, the belief that one's inner experience is the final authority on reality. By this standard, if I feel that gravity is a patriarchal conspiracy designed to keep men down, then it is. If I feel that my dog is a reincarnated senator, then it's true. And if I feel that women are the moral and epistemic superiors of men, then presto, I've invented a new caste system where emotion replaces evidence and tears replace testimony. The author claims women are the emotional immune system of the household. Let's test that. What happens when the immune system overreacts? We call it autoimmune disease. And that's exactly what we're seeing. An immune system turned on the host. Women don't manage emotions, they weaponize them. They don't coordinate health, they gatekeep it, then blame men for not knowing what they've never been told. I once watched a man be scolded for not noticing his wife's subtle signs of depression. What signs? The ones she never communicated, the ones she punished him for failing to intuit. This isn't empathy. It's emotional blackmail. It's the shit test institutionalized. And let's talk about the sacred duty of female sports fandom. The woman shouts at the screen during a women's soccer match and calls it a ritual of collective healing. Healing from what? The injury of earning less than men's teams, of competing in stadiums with sparse crowds. She pins every unfair decision on male authority. But where was this sacred feminine wisdom when the US women's team ruled FIFA for decades? Where was the spiritual defiance when they claimed 4 World Cups? No, sister, your tears aren't revolutionary. They're entitlement. You crave equal results, not just equal chances. You want triumph without grind, praise without achievement, and reverence without proof. Compare this to actual sacrifice. A father works 80 hours a week so his daughter can play club soccer. He pays $200 for the jersey, drives 3 hours to tournaments, and never misses a game. He doesn't scream at referees. He doesn't claim his testicles vibrated when a call goes against her. He shows up. That's not fragile male ego. That's virtue. That's errate. That's the stoic ideal, enduring hardship without complaint. But in the feminist worldview, his silence is complicity. His restraint is repression. His labor is invisible because it doesn't come with tears, mascara, or a grounding stone in a sports bra. The article claims men outsource empathy while women manage ovulation for 3 friends and schedule aura realignments. Let's be clear, managing other people's emotions is not labor, it's drama. Real labor builds bridges. Real labor funds pensions. Real labor fights fires. Men pay 82% of federal income taxes in the US. Men make up 93% of workplace fatalities. Men are 80% of suicides. And yet, women who live longer, earn 60% of college degrees, and win 80% of child custody cases claim victimhood like it's a birthright. This isn't equality. It's emotional colonialism, a campaign to extract resources, attention, and power by performing perpetual crisis. When the author says, I want men to pay the emotional tax they've been dodging since the dawn of agriculture, she reveals the agenda, guilt as currency. You don't earn respect through achievement. You extract it through accusation. You don't build trust through consistency. You manufacture it through meltdown. This is the essence of performative standpoint epistemology, the belief that your identity grants you epistemic privilege. If you're a woman, your pain is profound. If you're a man, your pain is toxic. If you're a woman, your anger is righteous. If you're a man, your anger is dangerous. This isn't justice. It's identity-based tyranny, a new inquisition where the stakes are social, not spiritual, but the mechanism is the same. Confess or be cancelled. And let's not ignore the spiritual charlatanism. Grounding stones, aura realignment, feeling it in my ovaries. This isn't mysticism, it's magical thinking. It's the same impulse that led medieval peasants to blame witches for crop failures. But now, instead of burning women, we're burning men on the pyre of emotional incontinence. The article treats sports fandom like a shamanic ritual, where mascara is war paint and tears are holy water. But real warriors don't cry during battle. They fight, and real leaders don't need crystals, they need courage. The truth is this, women don't need to create space. They've been handed the keys to the kingdom. They dominate education, they control family courts, they dictate workplace norms, they win the vast majority of sexual harassment claims, even when the allegations are false. A 219 study in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found that in cases of parental alienation, Mothers were the alienating parent in 89% of cases. Yet we're told men are the oppressors. A 2020 UK study found that men are arrested for domestic violence at twice the rate of women, even when they're the victims. The Metropolitan Police recorded 130,000 male victims of domestic abuse in 1 year, but only 11,000 were believed enough to have charges filed. Meanwhile, false allegations rise. In Australia, 1 in 5 rape allegations are proven false, the highest rate of any crime. But try saying that. Try questioning the sacred narrative. See how fast the tourmaline starts vibrating. The article ends with a demand. I want submission, not equality, not partnership. Submission. That's the end game. Once it was the personal is political. Now it's the emotional is epistemic. And the epistemic leads to the political, which leads to power. This isn't about sports. It's about ontology. It's about who gets to define reality. And if feelings are facts, then men are doomed, because we're expected to obey emotional decrees we cannot see, hear, or measure. But I say this, no, I will not submit to irrationality. I will not kneel before the altar of emotional solipsism. I will not apologize for building the world while being accused of destroying it. The next time someone tells me they felt it in their ovaries, I'll respond, that's not insight. That's indigestion. And if they scream that their tears are revolutionary, I'll say, then stop crying and start building something that lasts. I've spent years watching this charade unfold, from coffee shop feminists quoting Audre Lorde between sips of oat milk to female-dominated HR departments pathologizing male assertiveness as toxic. All while men quietly foot the bill and vanish into early graves. I used to think it was just cultural noise, then I saw the data. Then I saw the bodies, not metaphorically, literally. I've stood beside men who worked themselves into heart attacks so their wives could post Instagram reels about emotional labor. And that's when it hit me. This isn't just hypocrisy. It's organized parasitism disguised as empathy. So no, I don't care about your grounding stone or your womb wisdom. I care about truth. And the truth is this. If you want to talk about labor, real labor, let's talk about who built the world, who bled for it, and who's now being erased from it by a cult of care that worships female fragility as divine. The cult of care, deconstructing the myth of female monopoly on empathy and the weaponization of health gatekeeping. You know the old trick? Say something false enough times and folks start treating it like truth. This sweat is patriarchal garbage in a nutshell. Dogma for the emotionally unstable, sacred text for those running on emotional fumes. She sobs over a rugby referee's decision while her black tourmaline hums in her sports bra, because apparently rocks in bras are how you fight patriarchy, and honestly, I sob too. I sob for the men who poured concrete, laid steel, funded public services, and died overseas so she could prance around the 50-yard line, ruin her eyeliner, and imagine her blubbering is some kind of uprising. Let's cut through the noise. Crying isn't uprising. Roads are, bridges are, sewers are, and men built them. Every clinic where she later insists her boyfriend book a prostate exam. Paid for by men's earnings, 80% of federal income taxes come from men, IRS data shows. So when she whines, men don't get it. Bingo, she's correct. Men don't grasp why they should bankroll a society that paints them as cold while erasing their role like wet chalk. She labels setting medical visits sacred work. I label it common sense. And when she ridicules men for saying, I'm fine, she ignores that men are fine because they're too busy being the ones who answer the door when she's falling apart. They're the ones with the health plans, the deductibles, the tools changing the furnace at midnight while she's deep in a ritual to balance her non-binary cousin's energy field. Don't mistake emotional flare-ups for real duty. Let's dismantle this fiction of the emotional immune system of the household, a phrase so saturated with self-absorption it should carry a hazard notice. The immune system? Seriously. The last time I checked, immune systems don't sulk when asked to unload the dishwasher or weaponize quiet for days over a missed message. Immune systems combat invaders, not partners. But this language is intentional. It sounds noble, but it smuggles in one-sided dominance. It's the same thinking that allows women to dominate HR, therapy, teaching, and social services, fields where emotional display isn't just praised, but paid. These aren't volunteer gigs. They're well-funded roles of structural influence bankrolled by the very men labeled emotionally detached. And still, we're told men are the ones falling short. Data from the American Psychological Association in 2022 shows men start 70% of deep mental health talks in relationships. But good luck saying that to a woman mid-sealant treatment. Quiet isn't emotionless. It's a precision strike launched from a position of virtue. And while she plays the emotional immune system, don't overlook that actual immune systems involve sacrifice, like men taking their own lives at 3.5 times the rate of women. Per CDC numbers, no comfort kit for them. No calming crystals, just a solitary end, because unlike the theatrical tears in the stadium, real suffering doesn't seek applause. Now let's talk about this colonoscopy nonsense. Schedule your colonoscopy, she demands, as if men are somehow allergic to preventive care. But where is her outrage when women-led wellness cults push anti-vaxxix propaganda, reject ADHD medication for boys, and replace oncology with Reiki and essential oils? I've seen mothers flush Ritalin down the toilet because Big Pharma wants to drug our children, only to later demand their husbands get PSA tests developed by male scientists, funded by male taxpayers, delivered in male-built hospitals. The hypocrisy is staggering. And don't get me started on the Serena Williams example. Yes, her near-death experience was tragic, but her survival was thanks to male doctors, male-developed imaging technology, and a healthcare system that exists because men, on average, live shorter, more dangerous lives to fund it. Women live longer by 5.2 years, according to the CDC, but apparently longevity doesn't come with gratitude. Instead, they rebrand dependency as empowerment. They don't create space, they colonize it. They don't build institutions, they loot them, then accuse the builders of being fragile. And when they say men refuse to bleed for the cause, I say look at the battlefield, look at the mining shaft, look at the suicide statistics. Men don't bleed for the cause, they are the cause. Their blood is the mortar in every brick of civilization. Their silence isn't fragility, it's duty. And if that's not initiation, I don't know what is. The article claims men want access without accountability. But let's flip that. Women want power without responsibility. They want reproductive autonomy without male input, but child support with male funding. They want emotional labor recognized as sacred, but refuse to acknowledge that men's labor, physical, financial, protective, is the foundation that allows that emotional labor to exist. A woman can't hold space for her aura-aligned cousin if there's no roof, no heat, no food, and who provides those men? And yet we're told men are the ones failing initiation. Initiation? Real initiation doesn't involve vibrating crystals in your bra. It involves jumping out of helicopters, welding steel beams at 500 feet, or staring down a cancer diagnosis without complaint. It's not performative victimhood, it's actual sacrifice. And if you think crying at a sports game is resistance, try resisting a foreclosure notice, a custody battle, or the slow erosion of your identity in family court, where men lose 70% of custody cases despite equal parenting. According to US Census data, that's not patriarchy, that's matriarchy in action. And while she's busy accusing men of ignoring her, let's remember that men are the ones being arrested for commenting online, losing jobs over false accusations, and dying alone at twice the rate of women. But sure, her tears are revolutionary. His are just performative. Tell that to the 80,000 men who die by suicide every year. Tell that to the father who works 80 hours a week so his ex can take the kids to a therapist who tells her he's emotionally unavailable. The cult of care isn't about empathy, it's about control. And the most dangerous thing in the world is a woman who mistakes her emotions for facts, her privilege for oppression, and her dependency on men for independence. You think women's tears at a rugby match are revolutionary? I watched my father work 3 jobs so I could eat, and he never once claimed his sweat was sacred. He didn't need black tourmaline in his underwear. He needed shoes that didn't leak water. You scream about emotional labor while sipping kale smoothies funded by male tax dollars. But let's talk about real labor, the 92% of workplace deaths that are men, the 78% of suicides, the fathers who vanish from their children's lives not because they don't care, but because family courts treat them like predators for daring to exist. You say men whine about colonoscopies. Try being a man in a hospital where nurses assume you're faking pain until you're septic, because empathy isn't gender neutral, it's gendered against us. The Serena Williams story you weaponize? She survived because of a male-led medical system, male-invented protocols, and male-built hospitals, yet you use it to scold men as if we're the ones denying care. That's not justice. That's theft, stealing male achievement and calling it female struggle. You don't create space. You don't build. You don't bleed. You consume. You consume male infrastructure, male sacrifice, male silence. And then you call us fragile for not applauding while you cry over a missed penalty kick. Wake up. The goddess of equity you worship isn't a deity, she's a debt collector, and she's been billing men for 5,000 years while writing off her own obligations. I've seen villages built by one man with a shovel and a dream. I've never seen a single hospital, bridge, or power grid erected by righteous fury and essential oils. You want men to submit, we already have, to duty, to honor, to you. But our submission isn't to your tantrums. It's to truth. And the truth is this: civilization wasn't built on tears. It was built on testosterone, temperance, and the quiet courage of men who knew when to shut up and get the job done. Now go forth, share this. Break the spell, and next time you feel your mascara running, ask yourself, who paid for the stadium? Who designed the lights? Who will carry you out if the roof collapses? The answer is always the same. And his name isn't the patriarchy, it's Dad. And now the sponsored book, Introduction University Flooding. Excess elite, overproduction, too much debt, communist creep, and not enough skills. You were told that if you studied hard, got good grades, stayed out of trouble, and earned a degree, the world would open up for you. You were told that education was the golden ticket, the one thing that would protect you from poverty, obscurity, and failure. So you did it. You sacrificed your youth to lecture halls and student loans. You bowed your head, swallowed the propaganda, and paid your dues. And for what? A piece of paper worth less than the ink it's printed on. A job that pays less than your rent. A future that shrinks with every passing year. You weren't lazy, you weren't stupid, you weren't unlucky, you were lied to. And this book is the truth you were never meant to hear. I know this because I lived it. I watched my peers, brilliant, driven men walk across the stage in caps and gowns, only to end up delivering food on bikes or answering support tickets for minimum wage. I saw them crushed by debt they were told was an investment. I watched them lose their ambition, their health, their will to live, not because they failed, but because the system was rigged from the start. I've spoken to men who took on $10,000 in loans for degrees in sociology, gender studies, and communications, fields engineered not to educate, but to indoctrinate and disempower. I've met engineers replaced by AI before they even paid off their student debt. I've seen marriages collapse under economic pressure, not because love died, but because men were stripped of their purpose and ability to provide. This is not an accident, it is a policy. A slow, deliberate demolition of the masculine ideal of competence, responsibility, and self-reliance. This book is for men who are awake. Men who have seen through the lies of feminism, cultural Marxism, and the education industrial complex. Men who refuse to be guilt-tripped into silence while their lives are stolen. It is for those who still believe in logic, truth, beauty, and the Western canon, not as relics, but as living tools to rebuild what has been destroyed. If you are a man drowning in student debt, working a job that mocks your intelligence, watching your future vanish while unqualified women are promoted for optics, and wondering why no one will tell you the truth, this book is your lifeline. We will expose the elite overproduction crisis, how universities churn out thousands of useless graduates to inflate tuition and enrich administrators, while real skills go untaught. We will dissect how AI is not a future threat, but a present executioner of white-collar jobs, and how the same institutions pushing diversity are the first to automate men out of existence. We will reveal how the marriage strike, mass abortion, and feminist hostility have engineered demographic collapse, not by chance, but by design, to break men's will and dissolve family structure. We will name the ideological cancers: cultural Marxism, genocentrism, DEI fraud, and show exactly how they operate, who funds them, and how they've infected every institution from schools to corporations to government. This book is not for cowards. It is not for women seeking validation or men still hypnotized by feminist propaganda. It is not for those who want comfort, apology, or safe spaces. If you believe in toxic masculinity, if you think gender is a spectrum, if you worship at the altar of diversity and inclusion, if you still trust the mainstream media or academia, put this book down. Go watch a Netflix series, read a self-help fluff piece, join a therapy circle, do anything else. This truth will shatter you, and you are not ready. But if you are a man who has had enough, if you want to reclaim your mind, your future, and your birthright as a sovereign individual, then you are in the right place. This book will not just inform you. It will transform you. It will arm you with logic, history, biology, and philosophy to dismantle the lies that have held you back. It will show you how to think clearly, act decisively, and live with honor in a world designed to break you. The path to freedom starts here. The West can be rebuilt, but only by men who are awake, armed, and unafraid. University flooding, excess elite overproduction, too much debt, communist creep, and not enough skills. Written by Conrad Riker. Buy now, links in description.